Hey friends, this is Emmanuel Dagher with Dawn Johnston, and we are so excited to come to you with a brand new intuitive update. With that being said, Sunny, let us know what's going on right now in your world and what you're noticing.
Well, I'm getting ready to teach a class on decluttering, and always perfect timing because what has really been coming to me, and this is in my own personal life as well as in the people around me, is really needing to let go of older, dense, heavy energy. Like I've been feeling within myself and in my space and in my environment and in my thoughts and in my mind and in my heart. Like I've discovered that through a lot of my clients, because they always help reflect things, right? That they're going through a lot of mm, releasing of that old energy and moving into the higher frequency. And I find that a lot of them are in this kind of push-pull place where they want to let go, they know they need to let go, they're working on releasing, and they're wanting to kind of hang on a little bit. It's kind of like, I want to clean out my closet, but I want those clothes just in case,
Mm,
right? I want to get rid of this thing because I never use it anymore, but it's worth $25. I don't want to lose the money, whatever it is. I want to let go of that belief that I'm not good enough, but it's so comforting because I'm so used to it. So it's uncomfortably comfortable that I don't know if I can. So that's kind of the energy that I've been witnessing, and then I've been experiencing in my own life, in areas of having it come up and then being very mindful. You have a choice right now. Which choice do you want to choose? And I talked about this earlier in one of my classes. And it might come across a little bit strong, but I'm going to say it anyway, because you know me. Uh, Things in life are hard. Just there's hard things in life. Not everything. Life doesn't have to be hard all the time, but there are things in life that are hard. And you get to choose your hards. Because in the example I said, if you're making that change, you're getting rid of that density, doing healing work, it's hard. Like doing clearing out your closet when you're emotionally connected, it's hard. And not doing it and living in the way that you're living is hard, right? That's hard. And dealing with the repercussions of unresolved pain, that's hard. So choose your hard. Right. So that's really what I've been noticing, that density, people's desire to kind of want to move out of it, being sick and tired of feeling that way, and having a little bit of resistance towards stepping into that next level. And the how is where so many people get stuck.
mhm.
What have you noticed?
Well, before I get to that, I wanted to ask you because it's so present right now. When somebody tells you but, what is something that you share with them to actually help them move through that, the but?
The but. There's so many buts, right? And
Hmm.
and normally what I will say initially is, whenever they butt it, that's actually what they mean. When they're saying but, okay, don't just discount everything else,
Hmm.
right? So I try to remind them that, okay, let's use a different word. How about and?
Hmm.
This is true and this is true at the same time. This isn't a this or that world,
Hmm.
right? A lot of people think it's black or white. No, there's so much gray, right? Like it's this and it's that. And so when you get into this, well, I could do that, but blah 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 blah. Okay, well then you're saying I can't do it. So instead,
Hmm.
let's tell me, will you? I think there's a lot of value, and this might be helpful for those of you that are watching. There's a lot of value in asking yourself, just will you? Instead of I have to, I need to. Okay, will I? Will I go to the gym every day? Will I stop? Will I start drinking more water? Instead of, well, I would, but okay, well, then that just means you're not going to do it. And if you're not going to do it, then just be comfortable in the fact that you're not going to do it, instead of putting yourself into that place of then feeling bad because you're not. Like, I just think that's a waste of energy, and we all do it, right? We're like, well, I really should, but quit shitting on yourself.
Mm-hmm.
Like, that's not healthy. So when people get into that but mode, a lot of times what I remind them of is you're looking for excuse. I mean, sometimes I'm a little strong, Emmanuel. We know this about me. Like,
I
okay,
love it.
you're looking for an excuse right now. And that's fine. You can have excuses all day long. That you get to live your life however you want. But if we're going to move forward, we can't have those excuses. So instead of
Mm-hmm.
using the but, give me the and.
Mm.
Trade
And
it
I
out.
and I love the will you or will I because it's just a subtle shift, but it opens you up. It actually moves you into a receiving space instead of like being hard on yourself and judging yourself and all of that.
Right, like
Um,
the shaming, and it works the same way with somebody else. So when you like, if I said to you, "Hey, Emmanuel, what are you working on right now?" and you're like, "Well, I'm working on letting go of fear, let's say." But da 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 da. I'm like, okay, listen, will you do blah blah blah? Will you take this one step? And that gives you, it's like an invitation that doesn't feel like, well, you should, but will you? And so when we're talking to ourselves and when we're talking to others, that language can help us ease the protectiveness or the
mhm.
defensiveness.
Yes. It's so interesting. I use two words. I usually say, are you willing? So that's kind of a similar.
Mhm.
And then the other one is, are you open to? Because when you hear yourself saying, I am open, it's a fact. You are open. Maybe you're not ready right now, but you're open. So you can be both of those things and not be hard on yourself. It's so interesting. So many of us actually block ourselves not from the fear, but the actual judgment from the not doing and all that. So thank you so much for sharing that. What I've noticed in the past few weeks and kind of like where we're moving right now is this is a wondrous, extraordinary time for manifestation. And what you shared, Sunny, is kind of like preparing us for that. Really, if you have a lot of clutter in your home, giving yourself the time and space to declutter and make more room, even if it's just a little bit of something that you can do to help open up some space because the universe wants to give to you. And there we are in a forward momentum right now, and when we have things, whether, like you had said, emotional blockages or literal space blockages, we're blocking ourselves from receiving those blessings. So, right now is a really crucial time to prepare ourselves and create the space for more of our blessings because it is a special time for new things to materialize. And one of those specific things is people. So, if you have relationships in your life that are not working, or if there's some communication blockages there, be willing to look at that and really look at your part and move through that so that at least whether you walk away or you actually heal it, you know that you did the best that you could so that you could save this beautiful relationship or transform it to something that is going to be better. At the same time, if a relationship is not serving you, right now is the time to really reflect and kind of think about some of those things in your life that might be reinforcing those bad relationships so that you can, again, make room because there are new people that want to come into your life that are going to support you and you're going to support them and it's going to be mutual and it's going to be beautiful and wonderful. And this is the time for that. Are you noticing anything of that nature, Sunny, or is this?
Yeah, yeah. I was gonna ask you. So I think people have a really hard time letting go of people,
Hmm.
and for a variety of reasons, which are understandable. And um, I think that so often we hold on to people that don't want to be held.
Mm,
It's like hanging on to people that don't want to be in your life. And I know from my experience, and I was going to ask you this too, Emmanuel, like my experience, like for example, my dad isn't in my life. And a lot of people, when I share that, are really surprised. They're like, he's still alive? Yeah, he's still alive. But I've consciously chosen to not have him in my life because he's not healthy. He's not somebody that I would ever choose to be around. He has none of the qualities of somebody that I would want to hang out with. And so people have a hard time understanding why I can choose, especially as a teacher and a guide and support. Like,
Yeah.
well, can't you just find a way to make it work? Actually, no, I can't change him. And I'm not willing to change the values that I have within me to be with him. I'm just not willing to do it. And so you think that sometimes we hold on to people because of the idea of what we think it's supposed to be versus what it is. And when we
Hmm.
get honest with ourselves, and for me, when I got honest with myself, and really what happened was Spirit said to me, I kept waiting for him to be the adult, for him to be the one to be like, okay, I need to grow up, or I need to stop doing this, cheating, lying, stealing, all the things. And one day Spirit said to me, you're the one that knows better. You're the one that has to do it. And I'm like, well, I shouldn't have to. I'm the kid. That, I had all these excuses. And finally I'm like, I am the one that knows better. And I'm the one that has the problem with it. So if I'm the one that has a problem with it, I need to take the action.
Mm.
And so in that case, I did that for myself. But I think that I see so many of my clients are like, well, but sometimes it's okay. Well, the once in a while that it's okay versus the 98% of the time that it sucks, that's not equal.
Mm.
So sometimes we really have to recognize, okay, what am I holding on to? And I think so often we're holding on to the idea of what
Mm.
it we want it to be. And so I was curious with you,
Mhm.
have you had to let go of relationships? Have you, and how have you done that? And it's difficult. I mean, for
Mm.
sure it was difficult for me. And I sometimes I think about it and I am so grateful that I am not in that energy any longer.
Hmm. Yes. Well, I want to say thank you so much for sharing that because I know that you have such a high tolerance. I mean, in the sense of like you just see the good in everybody. So, I can imagine how challenging that is for you, or was. Yes, I have also had to leave and release actually a dear friend for, since fifth grade all the way up to like 29, 30. So it was like a really long relationship. And for me, the reason why I stayed so long, and my mom would tell me, my grandma would tell me, my friends would tell me, like, you need to like release this person. And for me, like you said, one, you see what they could be, right?
Yeah.
Like the highest
Potential.
potential. But the other thing was because, and you and I have talked about this, because of my early upbringing and having had a lot of abandonment in my life, I like one of the things that I will, or I used to like take to the end is that I am the most loyal person that I know, and I will like bat for you, and I would like like all that, and but at the expense of being abused,
Mhm.
being put down, belittled, treated horribly, all of those things because of my fear of not abandoning someone because I was experiencing that over and over again. So, having not had a father figure in my life, so that was like the missing thing for me. Although I have an amazing mom and she's just the best. So that is one of the thing that was kind of like driving my need to keep people in my life that were not serving me. But once I entered my 30s, it really just changed. I said, you know what? And I'm gonna share this. I've never shared this before anywhere. Um, so it was, I think I was 29, and this friend had moved out to Los Angeles because, we grew up in Indiana, so she wanted some sun and all that. And I remember there, through a series of circumstances, I had jury duty the next day, like I had to, wake up super early, go in and all that. But I noticed she kept pushing and pushing and pushing so that I wouldn't leave, like, oh, let's go eat. It was like midnight, all these things. So I just realized for some reason, and this wasn't the first time, this was something that was happening all the time, but something clicked and I was like, oh my God, this person just does not care at all about my well-being. And in fact, she was happy that I was going to do jury duty because now I have a real job and know what that's like, because what I do is not a real job. And that was her words verbatim. So I was like, you know what? I think I'm complete. So no, I didn't say anything. I just gave her a hug, took her once I dropped her off at home, gave her the biggest hug, but I knew inside I was like, that's it. And I just all communication, everything was done. It was the hardest thing for me because that is not something that is natural to me. But it was the most liberating because once I did that, oh my God. I met you, Sunny. I met so many amazing people that were just who saw me, who love me, who honor me, like the way that I want to honor others. And it just changed my life with just that one person. So if you're watching this and if there's one person in your life that's really causing you so much pain and suffering and struggle and all that, it could be intentional, it could be unintentional, but obviously do what you can to salvage that if you can. But if you can't and there's like you've used all your resources and it's not working, give yourself permission to leave, because or end that relationship, because you there's so much goodness on the other side, just like Sunny and I both experienced. So I wanted to share that today. I don't know,
Thank
I
you for
wasn't
sharing
expecting
that.
that.
I appreciate you sharing. I appreciate you sharing it because I think, Emmanuel, that it helps people to see that, we're up here and we're teaching and we're doing this together and sharing insights with you guys, but we're just human beings like you all are. We're doing the same thing. We're walking life. We're doing the best we can. We're coming up against these, bumps and trying to figure it out ourselves. And it's hard. And it's important to remember, like, even like a long-term friend, 20 plus years, right? A father, like, it doesn't matter if it's blood. If the person that is a blood related person doesn't love and respect you, that steals and cheats and manipulates and all of the things, then you really have to ask yourself, why am I willing to tolerate this from somebody that is actually supposed to be the person that loves me the most? And so if they aren't the person that loves me the most, why am I giving that energy back? Because what then you're not doing is you're not loving yourself the
Hmm.
most.
Yeah, that
And
that's
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 it.
exactly, it's so funny. I was in the car and I was like, is me being in this situation me loving myself? Heck no.
Nope.
Heck no. And once I had that epiphany, I was like, okay, it's time. But as you know, I don't like to argue. I don't like to fight. Like those are not my thing. But of course, I did with love write her a letter and let her know that, this is going to be done and we're complete and all of that. But I couldn't do it in a mean or hurtful way because it's not something that I would ever want to receive. All right. That was
That's
lots of
great. Look
truth
at that
bombs.
healing we're getting.
Yeah. So,
Thank you.
what is something, and if it's not a person, what is something right now, everyone who's tuning in, or if you're watching this later, what is something that you can release or create space around so that you can invite something new in? That's a question that you can ask yourself these coming days, because right now we have the opportunity for new blessings and new miracles and opportunities to show up in our life, whether it's in work, whether it's in relationship, whether it's in your health. This is the time for that. So, with that being said, Sunny, is there any final thought, any insight that you wanted to share before we wrap it up?
I think that's a great question to ask yourself, and I want to answer it because I'm like, oh, that's a good question to ask. So the question is, what is one thing that you can release right now that could create space for greater abundance in whatever form, relationships, love, what have you? And I'll tell you that part of the what I've really been aware of and I'm working on is releasing the amount um, of I'm trying to think of what word I want to use. The amount of time I spend for others. And it's interesting because that's really difficult to say when the others are all of you and family and all of those things. But what I have been doing is actually creating more consistent space for myself. And in doing that, I have to let go of something in order to add that thing in. And that's not always easy. I don't think it's easy for any of us to, whatever your role is in the world and however that is. So, when you asked that question, I was like, that's what it is for me. So
That's good.
I'm right there with you, friends. I'm right there with you, friends. Do you have an
Yes.
answer for that question?
Yeah, just continuing to ask that question, how can I show up for myself more in ways that not just honor my, let's say immediate space, but also honors my health, my well-being, making sure that I'm taking good care of myself, taking, eating the foods that support my body, like all of that. So that's one thing that I'll continue to do over these coming days and really creating that space for the new to come in because as you know, sometimes it's just an insight or a feeling or an intuition that you get, like we're doing right now, that, oh, I should do this today. And you have no idea why. And then all of a sudden you meet somebody that's going to do this and that. So I'm ready to be in that space more because synchronicity is amazing. And I love noticing it and seeing it happen for people.
And it's super fun. It's
It
super fun.
is.
It makes life fun, and life is supposed to be fun, you guys.
Yes. Oh, one final thing. My friend and I have been doing this. We have been saying just my luck, but only when things are going right.
Mm-hmm.
So a lot of times we are conditioned to believe that, oh, just my luck, da, 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 and usually it's followed by something bad. But whether it's like finding the perfect parking spot or, just back to basics, keeping it simple, really, oh, just my luck, this and that. And it works because it literally you start to look because you're just shifting your brain waves in a direction that, things are always there, but maybe you weren't noticing them. And it's been amazing. So just my luck. Things are going well, and I'm happy and healthy and blessed. And, we're doing this together today.
I love it. I love it. I use more, please. Thank you.
Oh,
More, please.
I love that. I'm
So,
gonna I'm gonna
so
use
that those
that.
are all great. Yes. So just my luck, soaking it all in. More, please.
That
Great.
is good. All right. Thank you, everybody, for tuning
Thanks,
in.
friend.
Yes, we are so grateful. We love to hear from you. Please comment. Please share your thoughts. We want to hear all of them. And if you have anything that comes up for you that we can hold space for, please share that as well because we want to do that. So until next time, have a beautiful day and we'll talk to you soon.
Thank you, friends.
Hey, my friend, if you enjoyed this video, please subscribe and comment. I'd love to hear from you. Have a miraculous day.